You're listening to the Table 12 podcast. Danny Barr, Paul Marino, Rob Klein on the board. Gentlemen.
How's it going this week, fellas?
Good afternoon.
How you feeling, Dan?
Yeah, I'm doing all right.
Progress?
I went back to work today.
Very good.
So, yeah.
And there's a finish line there. You're getting closer to the end. For
The end
retirement.
of what?
Retirement.
Oh, the end of work.
Yeah.
Yeah, end of the year. Yeah.
Awesome.
Can't come quick enough.
That's great.
Yeah.
But you're feeling better. You look better. Your voice sounds good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Rob, you're not so bad yourself.
Rob, you sound pretty good.
I do?
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Paul.
Well, he answered.
Yeah,
so
that's always a plus.
That's a good sign.
Yep.
Yeah, but the show just started. Give me
I know.
10
Well,
minutes.
we're going to keep you involved a little bit more. Keep the hand on the pulse. Make sure.
He's in there having a beer, so it'll help him stay awake this
It's
time.
exactly right.
I love it.
It's great.
Except, of course, when the beer runs out, I'll probably fall asleep. But whatever.
I'm telling you, Paul was looking for paddles last week.
Yeah, I was scared. I didn't know I was going to walk into in there. Because my CPR ran out. My certification ran out. So I didn't know what we would have done. We'd had to call 911.
All I cared about was making sure we were still running.
Oh, yeah.
You wanted on-air content.
That's right.
Of dead silence.
No pun intended.
So what's going on in the world, Dan?
Well, I mean, the biggest story right now is Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, Lindsey Graham, one of my favorite senators, by the way.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of his.
He was a powerhouse.
He was.
Very influential internationally, and he was a level-headed guy.
He was loved by his colleagues alike, even across the aisle. You know what I mean?
He was a level-headed guy. He made a lot of sense. He applied logic when there was no logic. And he was very powerful and outspoken. And I know they were showing the clips last couple of days, but Kavanaugh is not a Supreme Court justice without him.
No, he swayed the rest of the Senate, and he was being mistreated.
Yeah,
because I saw that. That was a powerful clip with him reprimanding. I don't know who was doing. Do you know who he was directing? That? Wasn't Schumer?
Kamala and Cory Booker.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who he was aiming at.
Because they didn't show the people. They only showed from him. Basically calling him out for being a disgrace and what they're doing to the guy. Yeah. No, he had a direct line to President Trump, one of the few that any time of day or night he can go over there.
And Trump would listen to him.
Yeah.
And that's rare. So that's a big loss to him.
It's
an
a
ally,
big loss.
Big ally.
Because a lot of the times he would try to convey, be the intermediate between Trump and the other senators, especially the ones that didn't like him.
Right. Yeah, so excuse me while I sit back in my chair. I'll drag the mic over a little bit.
For the folks at home, he just sat back in his chair.
I had to move the mic. So here's my question, which I don't understand this, so I'm still looking for an answer. So Plattner drops out he wins his primary in Maine, the Democratic primary, and then he drops out. So just like when Biden dropped out, they're not having another primary.
Right.
They're going to pick a replacement who was not voted on by the Democratic voters in Maine. But South Carolina
is having
one on August 11th.
I don't understand it. To me, it should be a special primary vote. There's plenty of time to put in a couple of candidates for the people to choose.
That's why they have deadlines.
Yeah.
And Plattner withdrew from the race ahead of the deadline. And Graham, unfortunately passed away, but he passed away before the deadline. So they were able to have a primary. So why can South Carolina have a primary and Maine doesn't?
Because the Democrats don't want them to choose.
Is it a Democrat versus Republican thing, or is it do the states control the primary process?
It just seems to me that it's always the Democrats that decide to do that. I don't know the answer to that. It's a good question. I mean, I think that the laws state, like, as a matter of fact, when somebody leaves local government or vacates the seat, there's an appointment, but then
to fill the rest of the term. But they have to run
within that same calendar year.
Right. There has to be an election.
Yes.
For that seat. Even though the term's not up, you fill the seat until that next election.
You don't get the 2 years left on the term.
Right.
You have to still run. So that means, like, you have to run this year and you got to run again next year.
Correct. If they want it.
Right.
And I don't think Graham's sister is going to run.
No.
I think that was this was an honorarium.
An honorary thing, also just to get the seat filled right now.
And to keep the vote.
Keep the vote, and then the primary comes into play, and hopefully you can maintain the vote with the Senate getting voted in. One of the things that stood out in all the different tributes, and I looked at a lot of stuff, I mean, you might have seen this. What do we always say? In fact, we said it last week, $180,000 a year the senators get, and how do they leave their office with $30 million? Well, his net worth leaving the day he died is only like $1.4 million, which means he wasn't in the pockets of all the different contracts accumulating money.
And he wasn't playing the market.
No.
He wasn't using insider trading.
No. So that's just to give you an idea. That's the kind of money that a guy should have. Unless you look, I'm not saying that other people who have money can make more money, but when you start out with nothing and you leave office with $30 million or even more, I'm even being conservative.
So when you go into the office with wealth, most of the time you can't help but build on that wealth. Your wealth builds on itself. You know, no matter what you do, your wealth is going to grow because you have that much.
Right.
You know, but
he was 30 years in the Air Force.
Air Force. He was a military guy.
So when he came out to run for politics, he didn't have a lot of
money.
He
was a lawyer, but he was a lawyer. He was like a civil servant lawyer. Okay. He worked for the government, whether it be the Air Force or the House of Representatives or the Senate. He was a lawyer for that. So it's not like he had a private practice where he amassed wealth.
If he was in the military, he was probably asked to do law stuff.
Well, he was JAG. Yeah, Judge Advocate General.
Okay. So he wasn't. You're not making a ton of money doing that. You're just making money in the military.
It's a nice military life.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
But you're not a Wall Street firm.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, that just stood out to me that, and he was a pretty honest guy, and he was, he came from nothing, living in the back of a pool hall when he was a kid.
Yeah, his parents died months apart when they were young. He adopted his sister.
Right. Took care of her.
Yeah, it's a ground up story.
Good American story.
Yeah.
So he's going to be missed. It's a shame. And, he was just in the Ukraine, come back from there, and this happened.
2 days.
Yeah. That was it. So you never know. That's kind of scary.
Well, he had this cardiac issue that happens at any moment. I think it's the same thing John Ritter had.
Yeah.
So there's no warning. From what I read, your warning is chest pain. And the moment you feel the chest pain, you have about 15 minutes to live. That's it. So there was no saving him.
Right.
And it's unfortunate, but it's a big loss. But then again, I'm always screaming term limits. So if there were term limits, he still wouldn't have been there. Because he was 30 years.
The thing that I liked was to see was a lot of the foreign countries, because he was good going abroad and
right. He was a good diplomat.
He wasn't going all over the world apologizing for the country. He was going there trying to meet these leaders and try to he was working hard for it.
He was trying to find peaceful resolutions.
Yeah. So, like I said, rest in peace, Lindsey Graham.
And he hated the Russians. He wanted Putin held accountable, which I think we all do.
Right.
So, but then, obviously we're, like we predicted in last week's show, we're at full-blown war now.
Right. The last report I saw was that the blockade's back in and we're hitting military targets. He's got another target in mind, some mountain target where could be some more uranium and nuclear capabilities, but it's deep in one of the mountains. I don't know what's going to happen with that, but he's already telling them he's going to bomb it.
And they hit Karg.
Yeah.
I mean, he does talk too much.
There's no doubt about
it. But he's telling them because he knows it doesn't matter if they know.
Right.
We're going to do it anyway.
Right.
It's kind of like that linebacker in school that says he's going to kick your ass at 3:30. He's going to kick your ass.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
You just have to go take the beating in order to maintain respect with the rest of the school. But I think that funeral empowered them because of the millions of people that showed up for the last Ayatollah.
He says they had a deal on the table 2 days ago, and then they reneged.
Oh, that's all BS.
That's what he said.
Right. So. But I just think the way people turned out for that funeral. Because if you notice, that's when it turned.
Yeah.
And I just think they felt like they had their country's support, so we're going to fight this out. You know, I don't know. I'm speculating, obviously, but it just seemed to me the timing of it, that they were working towards an agreement, then they had the funeral, and then the shit hit the fan. And I just think that funeral, so many people turned out for it and showed love for this Ayatollah, which I think is all fake anyway.
It's all fabricated. They brought out everybody has supporters. That's like
right.
People protesting here, but they were forced to come out there because they wanted to make a showing. But I still don't know what the end game here is. I don't know if these guys will ever surrender. I just don't know. So we're going to see about that. But
so I was thinking about something. You just mentioned protesting. And there's a lot of hype around the Democratic Socialists, and they're trying to whitewash socialism because people are comparing it to communism. And there is a slight difference, but not a big difference between the two. Both rely on more government control. And I started noticing that it seemed like a lot of these people that are running for these offices, they're young. They're in their 20s, late 20s, maybe 30, 32, which at the time of 9/11,
that's 25 years ago, so
would have made them either not born yet or 5 to 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I don't even know if they were in the country then.
Some of them might not have been. But it goes to show you the brainwashing that goes on. And it made me think it was 25 years roughly from Pearl Harbor to the time we were born. But the Japanese didn't continue to terrorize us.
Right. There was an end to that.
There was an end. 9/11 happened. We went to war. Country became very patriotic. But then slowly, the terrorists made their way back into this country.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and now
a little help from their friends.
Well,
in the last 4 years,
an example of that is the guy who just won the primary in New Jersey, who was a character witness for the sheik who bombed the Trade Center the first time.
Yeah,
in '92, and he was a character witness in that. So there.
How does he get elected? How does he get elected?
Because it's New Jersey. And, so.
What happened to the never forget mantra that we had for.
Well, we don't forget because we saw it. Some of us with our own eyes. But it just seems like that's why they're succeeding. Because the voter turnout is all white college graduates in their 20s.
And they're getting brainwashed in college.
But they're the ones showing up to vote. The older people are not showing up to vote. And so you have no one to blame but yourself if you don't show up to vote. And that's the part that scares me. Those three socialists that won their primaries in New York City a month ago, 7% voter turnout in New York City.
Right.
Well, you're not winning anything because Mamdani won with 51% of the vote. That means half the registered voters in the city didn't show up.
But that wasn't his percentage of the win. That was 51%.
No, it's 51% total voter turnout between Cuomo, the guardian angel there, Sliwa, and Mamdani. 51%.
He probably got what? So he must have got like 18% of the vote.
Yeah, I don't remember what the exact count was, but it was just enough to beat the other two. But look at those choices. No wonder people don't come out to vote. It's really, and when you start looking at it, so now Ro Khanna in California is eyeing up a 28 run. And that guy's a complete fraud. A complete fraud. He's a socialist telling us all how we should share our wealth. Meanwhile, he married it.
Right.
Because he's worth $400 million and it all belongs to his father-in-law. His father-in-law is the absolute definition of a capitalist. And it's just, they're trying to make people who are capitalists feel guilty about being capitalists. And I can tell you, I'll never feel guilty for it.
Well, we're not multimillionaires, though, either.
But it doesn't matter. We're still capitalists. We still work for ourselves. I don't want the government telling me what kind of stove to have, what kind of car to drive, okay? And where I should give my money.
Right.
I'll decide who I give money to. But that's my decision, whether I give it or not. It's my decision. And somebody wants to call me selfish, have at it. I got a thick skin. I don't care what you say about me. So this was my observation in the last week or so, that the reason this is happening, now the Democrats are cannibalizing themselves with this, because just what I said, they needed a party to attach to. And because the Democrat Party
was already leaning that way,
leans that way, so they attached themselves to it. And they used Trump. Trump is the greatest gift to democratic socialists they could have ever gotten, because he's the great distraction. I came up with that. I'm coining that term, the great distraction. Because while the Democrat Party has been obsessed with Trump, the democratic socialists fed their way in. And they had their back turned. They were looking at Trump. And it's a sleight of hand movement. It's like a magician holding something up in his left hand while he's doing the trick with his right hand.
Yeah. No, it's a good point.
Oh, thank God. I was really hoping to come into this week making a good point. I wasn't sure if you were going to notice that I made a good point. No, Rob, how you doing in there?
I'm still awake.
Okay, but any opinion? You're awake, but you're not paying attention.
No.
What are you reading a book?
No, I'm watching reels on Facebook.
He's waiting for the Knicks report, which I'll do later to follow up.
Oh, there's another Knicks report?
Well, it's a short one, but
another one?
Well, it's very short.
I guess
I have to follow up. I don't want to jump ahead though. Can we stay on?
I think another bench player made a move.
Yeah.
So
exciting stuff.
Well, the Knicks won the championship, for God's sake.
I thought we weren't starting this yet.
No, but go ahead, Dan. Continue.
Well, that's what I got. I thought we were hoping.
Well, I
was hoping to have a conversation.
Well, we are having a conversation. So let's go.
I believe I said my piece. Now it's your turn to talk.
Every time you say something like, "Oh, I guess I'm done," I don't want to make sure I don't want to interrupt your point.
Well, this is a dialogue, not a monologue. So,
so far it's been a monologue on your end.
I'm trying not to, though. I'm trying.
Anyway, right, Rob? All right.
I'm trying to get you to participate.
I'm trying to get a good rating for the show today. I want to have a good rating. It's the second week back. Rob's going to have to give us one at the end of the show. Anyway, with the World Cup,
Rob has to listen in order to give us a rating.
Well, I think he's having.
I don't think he listened to last week.
Well, you know what it is he has a long weekend. He has to work all day. It's tough for him.
And he goes to the lake house. And listen,
I know.
I don't want to interrupt that.
It's exhausting.
I listen. You know what?
We're on your schedule, though. You chose this schedule.
Rob, listen.
Can't wait.
I've never had a boat, so I don't know how exhausting being out on a boat all day is. But
it's gotta be.
I can empathize with you because I know what it's like to be at work all day.
Because I watch all those Errol Flynn movies. If you have to climb to the top mast, that's tiring.
Do you have a mast in your boat?
Do you have one of those top masts like in Errol Flynn's movie there, Captain Blood? You have to climb to the top there. That's not easy. I've never tried it, but that's not easy.
Errol Flynn was a good-looking dude. I'm comfortable in my heterosexuality to say Errol Flynn was a very handsome man. But I think he had something going with Charlie Chaplin.
Well, I don't want to get into
I always believe those two had something going.
Let's sleep in dogs.
You brought him up.
I brought him up.
You bring something up. Why can't I talk about it?
Well, I brought up something about because Rob has a boat. And he has I want to know if he had a mast.
All right. Well, sometimes I stray.
All right. So anyway, the FIFA World Cup, it was
pronounced FIFA.
I thought it was FIFA, like if it's Fife and Drum Corps, like that. Anyway, there was a game that just finished up. Breaking news.
Do you know what it stands for? FIFA? Because you're all in on this. You've been watching the games. You dominate the report. Never played soccer a day in your life. Do you know?
I played soccer in gym.
Do you know? Oh, scooter soccer probably. Do you know what FIFA stands for?
It's Federation of International
Those are-
Football, right? Football Association.
There you go. All right.
How about that,
Look at you.
Rob? Called me out on something, trying to make a jerk out of me
I'm
again.
impressed, Paul. You're
Hey.
holding your own.
What are you making a jerk out of me?
Hey, oh.
Hey, I'm sorry, Billy Bats.
So Spain upset France. They were the underdog in today's game, 2-0.
Half a point. They were underdogs, but only half a
But
point.
they were, you know.
Yeah.
So Oyarzabal and Oro were the 2 winning goals for Spain. It went total of 97 minutes, 7 minutes overtime. All right. They play the winner tomorrow of England and Argentina, which tomorrow that game is played. And did you know there's going to be a consolation game for third place on
Yes,
Saturday?
there has to be.
Yeah, so that you're going to have France in that along with the loser tomorrow,
Right.
and then Sunday's the final.
Right.
Then now there's something that came up.
A lot of money involved in that.
There's something I came up that I wanted to bring up from last week. An observation from watching all these soccer games that really kind of didn't understand. Makes no sense to me. Why do the goalies have different color uniforms on?
So they stand out from the rest of the team. Because there's different rules that apply to the goalie. First of all, obviously, the goalie can use his hands. As long as he's within the penalty box,
Mm-hmm.
he can use his hands. Once he comes out of the box, he can't. He is a regular player at that point. And in today's game, I don't know if you caught it, but the goalie came out of the box, way out, deflected the ball,
He had to run back
and then
in.
got back in and made the save,
Yeah,
which was really impressive.
I saw that. It was phenomenal.
And then he got kicked in the face. The guy kicked the ball right in his face, square into the face. That hurts. I've been
as
there.
opposed to as a comparison, in the United States game, the guy came out and did that, and he fluffed the kick, and he had an easy
Well,
goal.
he came too far out,
So
and he went to chest the ball, and he missed it. So, yes.
yeah, so so is that more for the referees than it is the players, because the referees could see
For
that
the
goalie-
referees,
Okay,
right.
now it makes sense.
So
Right.
when I played,
Yeah.
the goalies wore black, solid black, head to toe, where we wore our jerseys. Now, I played in high school, it was green and gold jersey and green and gold uniform. Goalies were black. Every goalie on every team, didn't matter what your team colors were, goalies wore black. Now they wear the
Mostly-
OSHA approved.
So it's yellow, or
fluorescent
usually
yellow.
like it's a yellow or a dark green, something where they got to stand out more.
Right.
So when the
Correct.
referee's looking, because they're kind of looking far
Because
away,
when they come out of the box,
you got to make sure you know who it is.
they got to know that it's the goalie and he can't use his
I
hands.
asked that question, Dan. I give you credit. You gave me a good answer on that.
I played for a long time.
But did you play? When did you play? Like in intramurals or
No,
in
I
high
played
school or?
competitive high school. Played.
All right.
I played in the Navy, and then I played in the adult leagues when I came home from the service.
Okay, you were more qualified then. So I mean, what do you think about the final game? Then you're looking at a Spain team, which
England has the edge.
do you think England's better than Argentina with Messi?
Well, they're favored,
Right.
but you never know with Messi. Messi can change a game all by himself.
Right.
You know, I mean, he's the Tom Brady of soccer. I mean, he can absolutely change a game. But I think all four teams were so even going into these semis that it makes for a great World Cup. You know, you're not going to see a blowout. These teams, it's any given Sunday with these.
Well,
teams.
I mean, I think the total saves today. He made 3 saves. The Spanish goalie. Total of 3.
Spain dominated control of the game today, which surprised me because France has been annihilating people through this whole tournament and completely dominant team. So I was surprised by today, but just want to congratulate our one listener in Spain. Catalonia is where he lives.
Shout out to our friend.
Congratulations for Spain making the finals.
That's why I think we should have gave a good report today for all.
Looking forward to it. And if you're on Facebook, come to the Table 12 Facebook page and say hi, because this listener is completely loyal. Listens to every single show.
That's awesome.
And so, congratulations to our listener in Catalonia, Spain.
So tonight is the All-Star game. Baseball paused.
Can't wait for that.
For their All-Star game.
Before you start on that, the home run derby.
Well, I was coming to that.
Okay, well,
I just was starting with saying tonight's the game.
So you're starting with tonight and going to last night. Okay, so that's good. So go ahead.
It's the All-Star break. Tonight's the game. But last night we had the
Home Run
Home
Derby.
Run Derby, and Ben Rice was in it. A host of people were in it. Schwarber, but Jordan Walker won it in the last at bat with 3. I didn't watch it. I
Good
watched
for
the
old lady
highlight.
Walker's kid.
Okay, so you wanted to report on it.
It was on Netflix.
I didn't watch it.
No, neither did I. I couldn't find it. I had to go online to see that it was on Netflix.
Okay.
I'm not gonna put on,
I agree with you.
The Home Run Derby is a channel surfing event.
True.
You know,
I'm not watching the whole thing.
but shame on MLB.
Yeah.
This whole thing with NFL and MLB selling their games to these streaming networks, it's insane.
See, I really don't even like the Home Run Derby, but like you said, if you're changing something to say Ben Rice is up because he's a Yankee guy, he was in it, didn't fare too well, didn't make it out of the first round, but you would switch back. You're going to put something else on. Or
last night was a perfect example. I was getting ready for bed at 9:00, and like I always do, but a buddy of mine who I haven't talked to in 35 years texted me. I had reached out to him through Facebook to try to reconnect, and he texted me and said, "You up for a call?" So Janet went to bed. I stayed up and chatted with this guy for 45 minutes on the phone. I would have loved to have had the Home Run Derby on the TV
as a backdrop,
on
just
mute.
Like, yeah.
But at some point, I'm taking a stand against this. I know it's a losing fight, but I don't think it's right. I just don't. It should be on network television.
Well, ESPN lost the contract for a lot of the baseball. So NBC and Fox and a lot of it got sold off, like you said, to like Major League Baseball Network is either you got to download an app or something. It's a whole complicated
It's
thing.
terrible, and football too. Thursday nights
It's on Prime, I think.
It's
now,
on
Amazon,
Prime.
yeah.
Which means I don't get the channel surf, and
Well, I won't watch it because
I don't want.
by the time you get to if you start in third, if the Giants or the Jets are playing, we get it anyway. They don't
Right.
black it out. So I'll watch the Giants or the Jets if they're playing, but I'm not going on Prime to watch Eagles and Buffalo. I'm not doing it.
But here's the thing. So I have YouTube TV as my main channel board.
Is that also your internet? Like your
No, Verizon is our internet.
Oh.
But YouTube TV is where I get all my channels. So I have YouTube TV for all the main channels and ESPN and all that. And then, then I have Paramount and Netflix and what have you, and Prime. But with YouTube TV, I can channel surf because that's the guide, And so they have the NFL package. The NFL package is $400. Now,
and that you have to pay that just to have every game you want. You can watch any game.
But you don't get the Sunday night game on it because everyone gets the Sunday night game. You don't get Monday night game because everybody gets that. Thursday night game, it's on Prime. So when you take all those games out of the schedule, what are you getting for your $400?
It's just
I had it last year, and I think I watched 4 games on it.
So it's not worth it for $400.
And I got it because I wanted to watch Buffalo. That just because I like Josh Allen. But
getting back to the baseball before we move on. So the Mets and the Yankees, obviously, they're resting. There's 3 Yankees in the All-Star game. Schlittler is not pitching. So you got Ben Rice and Bellinger are in it, and Soto for the Mets.
Right. But Yankees finished the half with a 4-game streak.
Yep.
Mets finished the half with a 3-game losing streak.
Right. Yep. So the Mets are 40 and 57, and the Yankees are 54 and 42.
3 games out.
54 and 42.
Where's the game tonight? Philly?
Yeah.
So it's a National League game.
You,
National League's going to win tonight.
But here's the other thing about the All-Stars, right? And it's the only time I've ever seen it. And I only saw it because I watched the highlights this morning. Normally, the All-Star game is, a community thing, wherever the game is, they're not booing people. They booed every Yankee, they booed everybody, they're booing them.
Well, it's Philly.
Exactly. So Philadelphia
I'd be disappointed if they didn't.
They wanted Schwarber to win. He was in the final, and this guy beat him on the last 3 swings to overtake Schwarber, who was the Philadelphia player.
I'm surprised these fans aren't home in their kitchen making snowballs to bring to the game.
Wouldn't last long last night. But, so, we'll see what happens in the second half. You've got only 65 games to go. When they say it's the halfway
It's
point,
not-
it's not
yeah.
it's past the halfway
They
point.
stretch it out now.
But in August 1st, you got the trade deadline. I think the Mets are going to be sellers. I think the Yankees might pick up a couple players. I don't know how it's going to. If you don't get Aaron Judge back, you're not going to go. I'm sorry.
Right, season's over.
Doesn't matter. And I don't see him coming back till mid-August to September 1st.
And honestly, it's the Dodgers' year again.
Yeah, but
They're
look at their
scary
yeah.
good.
They got guys missing that's still winning every game.
Right.
The best team money could buy. I mean, the Mets have the second highest payroll.
Whoa, that's spoken as a Yankee fan.
Which is
wow. Best team money could buy.
Well, I'm using everybody else's lines. I still get that from the Mets. Well, you got at least when we spent money, we came away with something. The Mets have the worst record and have the second highest payroll.
Listen, the greatest team in Yankee history for a number of years. Well, it was the 50s, but then the 90s. Those guys, most of them were homegrown.
They were. That's what sometimes it gets a bad rap. We would get a player or two we'd plug in, but most of those guys were brought up through the system.
Yeah, I mean they had a few hired guns like Clemens and Cone.
Yeah,
but most of them came up.
Yeah,
you know.
So we'll see what happens with that. I know Rob wants the update from last week's Knicks. The next thing, I predicted Jordan Clarkson was going to sign. He signed a 1-year deal. Now we have one spot left.
You were supposed to text me about that.
Yeah, I know. I figured
I've been waiting all week.
You have a lot to deal with. I figured just be surprised you feel more invigorated this week with that.
I've had the Monkeys playing Last Train to Clarksville all week.
Brunson's healing. His left arm is healing. So in case you guys want to know.
Yeah,
and we got one spot.
I sent him flowers.
And we got one spot left. And you don't know. It could be LeBron's. He's trying for the Knicks.
So we had a bet
2010.
20 years ago.
2010 it started.
right. And I won that bet because you thought LeBron was coming to the next 10.
Yeah.
And he went to the Heat.
Yeah. Rob, are you in there?
I'm here.
Did you know that LeBron is out there again trying to go to another team, and he might, he's considering
going back to Cleveland.
I think he is too, but I just wanted to bring that up since we have a lot of history with LeBron. But there's one spot left. He wants it.
What are we betting this time?
We're not betting anything.
Because you're a sore loser.
No. I'm not going to. We're going to leave hockey till it gets a little colder. We won't talk about hockey. Go ahead, Dan. So you got a couple things with the
Wimbledon.
Wimbledon is that last week we had to worry about Wimbledon. That was a big topic.
Yannick Sinner against Zverev. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. Great finals. One of the best finals I've ever seen. And the first two sets, they went shot for shot. Sinner had a 65% first serve percentage. Zverev had a 75%. These guys are serving the ball first serves at 135 miles an hour. Now, years ago, when I was still playing tennis, I was on the tennis team in high school too. I know I don't talk about my high school sports like you talk about your basketball days.
When do I talk about my basketball days?
I
haven't brought that up in the 50s.
How would I know about it if you didn't talk about it? But anyway.
It's 50 years ago.
So when I used to play tennis, I was living in Massachusetts, and there was a guy, pro, from Springfield, Massachusetts, Longmeadow, which was right next to where I lived. Tim Mayotte, the highest rank he got to in his career was number 7, and he made a semifinals in Wimbledon and U.S. Open. He was a very good world-class player, and he was friends with a friend of mine that I played tennis with. So I got to meet him on a court. He invited him out on the court, and we got to hit balls around. This guy's the number 7 ranked. So this isn't Agassi, this isn't Sampras, right? But still a great player. For the hell of it, I said, serve me like it's the U.S. Open. Give me a first serve. I never even moved. This thing came at me like a rocket. And so when I watch these guys, like this weekend, serving 135 miles an hour,
and they
return it, it is mind-boggling to me. So it's just so much fun to watch. But they split the first 2 sets at tiebreak. Both went to tiebreak. And then the third set, Sinner started showing why he's number 1 in the world. And and then ended up winning his second consecutive championship. He was the defending champion. So it was a great finals. So Sinner won again.
So that's all over now, Wimbledon.
So much like the Knicks season, Wimbledon is over. Tennis isn't over because tennis is never over.
Well, again, the next one's in Flushing, right? The next major one is the U.S. Open, right?
Yeah. And I went to that, and I went to a Met game back in '86 during the U.S. Open. What a nightmare that was!
Oh wow!
Imagine the '86 Mets, selling out every game, and then the U.S. Open going on. It was the same train platform to get to both. Remember, they were right next door to each other.
Yeah.
And Flushing.
Yeah.
And that was a fun memory.
So anyway, you asked me to look at the UFC.
So
I recapped that. So I went back and looked at a few of the matches.
Saturday night, big hype.
Big hype.
McGregor versus Holloway. But the preliminary fights were great.
Yeah.
And
I didn't watch the whole thing, to be honest with you, because I didn't have a lot of time, but I went through.
Well, there were a lot of fights.
Yeah, it was a lot of fights.
It's a 3-hour.
I wanted to concentrate on the end, but
most of them were TKOs, which is always fun. A couple of decisions, but most of them were TKOs. But there were two, other than the McGregor fiasco.
Which we know what happened. He blew his knee out, 109
and
Holloway.
His coach said today that kick, which I don't know anyone who follows MMA, understood why he would open the fight with a kick like that.
I don't either.
But he's been practicing it. That was their game plan, their strategy the whole time.
To try to catch him early?
The flying left kick early, right out of the gate. But he blew his knee out. Very likely ended his career with that because he's not getting any younger, and he hasn't had a fight in 5 years.
And that's a year to recover just to get back on.
Yeah. But two fights I want to bring up to you that I asked you to watch. Gable Steveson had his UFC debut. Gable Steveson is a 2-time NCAA heavyweight champion from Minnesota. He took 2 golds. He came in second against Hendrickson. That was the huge upset.
Wait, now you talking about wrestling?
In NCAA wrestling.
Right.
Just giving you a backstory on Gable
it was
Steveson.
wrestling.
Right, NCAA wrestling. He lost. He took a year off to win a gold medal in the Olympics. So he only wrestled he's a 4-time Big Ten champion, but he only wrestled in 3 NCAA championships because of the Olympics. And in his last one, he got upset by Hendrickson, who was an Air Force Academy graduate, but then wrestled for Oklahoma or Nebraska. Now I can't remember. But huge upset, but Trump was at that match. And Hendrickson's an officer in the U.S. Air Force Academy graduate. So when he upset Stevenson, he stood up and saluted Trump.
I remember that.
Really a great moment.
Yeah.
But Stevenson is a force of nature. So he's named after Dan Gable, one of the most successful wrestlers and coaches in history.
Mm-hmm.
So oddly enough, his parents named him after him. And then he goes on to become one of the most successful wrestlers in history. So he decided to get into the UFC. He had 3 MMA matches going into this weekend. He fought a guy named Ellison, who's 5-2, good fighter. Beat the daylights out of him. Ellison caught him with a couple of good shots, but Stevenson showed his inexperience, but he's such a powerhouse. I can't imagine getting punched by this guy. It's like getting hit by a truck. But he's being trained by John Jones. So you saw a little bit of John Jones' influence in him with his kicks. And then the ref stopped the fight with a low blow kick, which wasn't a low blow. Did you?
No.
I thought you saw this fight.
No, I didn't.
He hit him next to the cup, not on the cup. And his foot was more up on the hip. But the ref stopped it and gave Ellison a timeout because of the low. He said he heard him hit the cup. He might have glanced the cup, but it wasn't a low blow. But it didn't matter. Stevenson came out of that timeout ferocious and just beat him up. And then the fight before Conor McGregor,
St. Dennis and
Pimblett.
Yeah. He's crazy.
He's a character, isn't he?
Patty.
So Paddy the Daddy. So earlier, one of the first preliminary fights was a kid from Liverpool who's got a real good career going, 14-0 in MMA. He's from Liverpool. So when Rogan interviewed him, he just starts screaming into the microphone, Paddy the Daddy, Paddy the Daddy. And then Paddy Pimblett goes out and choked this guy out.
First counter move. He had the first move. And
one of the most violent chokeouts I've ever seen.
And wouldn't let him go. Like, even when he tried to roll him out, and he couldn't get him off.
He wouldn't tap.
No.
The guy wouldn't tap. Went unconscious. The ref did a Hulk Hogan move.
Yeah.
Picking up the arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was waiting for him to leave his arm up and start waving his finger in the air. But what? So he's the next character. He's the next Conor McGregor.
Right.
Where he's a real character dancing.
He was going crazy after the match.
So that was so. Even though the McGregor fight was a bust, and I don't think he's coming back, and I think Holloway might be done now too if McGregor doesn't come back. I mean, they come back for the money, but Holloway can't compete for the title anymore.
No.
But it was
a lot of disappointed people in that audience because everybody was waiting to see the fight, and then it ended so quickly.
I just imagine you fly to Vegas, you get a hotel room, you got tickets to the UFC, 3 hours through the preliminary fights, which are fun, but 3 hours through the preliminary fights.
Minute and 9 seconds.
And it wasn't even it was done on the first kick.
First move because he couldn't get up, couldn't stand up.
I mean, it would cost $5,000 to go there for this fight, and it didn't happen.
But that minute and 9 got him $30 million.
Yeah.
So then you had speculation. Well, maybe he was already hurt, and he just tried to get in the ring so he could get his paycheck.
They swear he wasn't.
Yeah, I don't think he was either.
But I credit to Holloway. He didn't want to continue to fight. He knew he was hurt.
Yeah.
He's trying to tell the ref he's hurt. He's hurt. And then when he fell the third time,
there was no doubt.
Holloway went down and hit him once.
The ref kept saying, "Keep working." The ref
right. Holloway went down and hit him once, and then looked at the ref again, and like, okay, it's done.
Yeah.
But it was still a good night.
Yeah.
So that's all I got.
Well, Rob, you have anything you want to add to this?
No, I'm good.
What's the rating today? Any rating?
7.
Well,
He's not paying attention, boy.
Not bad.
When are you going to learn?
I paid attention the whole day. This is 7.
It's a 7. All right. Well, we have to live with it. We'll take it.
You have to talk about something other than sports.
Well, your floor is always open. You got any suggestions? You're just as part of the show too.
You have a microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the enthusiasm.
Thanks a lot. Well, we'll see you there next week.
You really make us want to come back next week.
Good. I'm glad.
Bye-bye.
See ya.